An Evernote use case, the kitchen renovation. That's what we're talking about today. Hi, this is Frank Buck, and this is the place to be if you want to get organized and make it look easy. Large projects generate lots of information, and a kitchen renovation definitely falls in the category of a large project. When people ask, what's Evernote for? The best answer is to show practical examples. Well, today we're going to show you our kitchen renovation as an Evernote use case. So here's our situation. The house we bought in 1997 was only 3 years old at the time. We're approaching 25 more years to add to that total. Just how much longer will that refrigerator we bought back then last? And the stove, dishwasher, and microwave, each replaced once. Well, there's still no spring chicken now either. The Formica countertops, certainly functional, but it was time for something more attractive. The cabinets, very well constructed, but a little dated. And like many households, we were seeing ourselves running out of storage. Getting to the backs of cabinets was tough. And what lurked back there was anybody's guess. And so the search began. So, what do we want the project to look like when it's finished? Well, with things like HGTV available 24/7, we're never at a loss for ideas. But how do you trap the good ideas that you see? The obvious answer is with the camera on your phone. You see, we live in an age when we use our cameras differently. No longer are they a tool to preserve today for posterity. They become tools to help us plan tomorrow. They serve as triggers for action. But how well that tactic works depends on where we put those pictures. The next time you see one of those designers on TV work their magic and think, I want that, well, grab your camera, take a picture. But where are you going to put it? And my suggestion is in Evernote. You see, we're great when it comes to taking pictures and terrible when it comes to setting up triggers that cause us to see them at the right time. The photo of that cute dining room on the TV screen goes into your camera roll right next to the photos from last night's wild party. So what's a better way to do it? Well, start with a notebook in Evernote. After all, back in the pencil and paper world, wouldn't you have started a large project by grabbing a 3-ring binder or at least a file folder and labeling it something like kitchen renovation? And when you snap the Polaroid photo of that cute dining room, you would tape it to a piece of paper and put it in the notebook. And if you're wondering what a Polaroid photo is, well, just ask someone who has plenty of gray hair. In Evernote, create a notebook and label it kitchen renovation. Create a note and hit the little camera icon right in that note. Now, take the photo. Instead of it winding up with everything else in the camera roll, it's inside the note that's inside the kitchen renovation notebook. See more good ideas during that same television show? Well, great. Add more pictures within that same note. And while you're at it, key in some text to remind yourself of what it was that you liked and maybe which show that you were watching. As you progress, the amount of information will grow, but you'll never outgrow that notebook. Okay, now it's time for us to go shopping. Have you ever shopped for tile for a backsplash? I had no idea how many different choices were available. It was like Six Flags over tile. All around us were people taking pictures. And I sort of just smiled because I knew where those pictures were going. They were going on those camera rolls, those disorganized camera rolls. And yes, I was also taking pictures with my phone, but unlike the other folks, my pictures were going into Evernote. Every picture taken in that store went into the same note. And you know, when you go to the appliance store, you start to have these little thoughts such as, gee, I wonder just how big the opening for our refrigerator is. I wonder if this one that I'm looking at here in the store is actually going to fit back home? Well, before you go shopping, pull out the measuring tape and get busy. Create yourself a note in your kitchen renovation notebook and put the information there. When you get to the appliance store, your answers are going to be an Evernote on your phone instead of a sticky note at home on the refrigerator door. Oh, and who was that helpful salesperson, by the way? If you wanted to make a follow-up phone call, could you? If you jotted down the name and contact number in Evernote, absolutely, it would be easy. And all the paperwork, the contracts, the emails back and forth about everything, the schedules, so far. How do you keep track of it all? Well, a paid Evernote account allows you to just forward each one of those emails straight into Evernote, where you can store them in the notebook for that project. And what about the printouts that describe the things that you bought? Well, let the Evernote mobile app serve as your scanner. And with the camera set to auto, Evernote looks for the edges of the paper and snaps a crystal clear image without you ever touching a button. And to-dos, plenty of to-dos associated with the project. In addition to the information we keep, we have decisions to make, actions to take, and deliverables to track throughout the life of the project. Evernote allows you to create a to-do list within any note. And hey, if you already use a digital task manager, such as Remember the Milk or Todoist or Asana, you can use a service called TaskClone to copy those to-dos and add them to your digital task manager. If you haven't heard of TaskClone, I've included a link in the body of the blog post that accompanies this episode. That link will take you to a short video that demonstrates the concept. Now, next is a concept called the table of contents note. Okay, so you've created your notes in that Evernote notebook for your project. But what about the order in which those notes display? Evernote gives you several options. You can sort by title, you can sort by the date the notes were created, or you can sort by when the notes were last updated. And it's universal. If you choose that for one notebook, it's that for everywhere. And personally, I like by far to sort mine by last updated, because I find that the note that I need to work on now is generally the note that I just got through working with a little while ago. But what if I want a way for the notes to all be listed in such a way that they tell a story? Well, enter the table of contents note. So here's what you do to create one. Hold down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on Mac and start clicking the notes that you want to include in this table of contents. When you get through, a little ribbon is going to appear that tells you how many notes you selected and gives you several options as to what to do with that group of notes. You'll see 3 dots. Click that to see more options. And now what you're going to see is click internal links. Click on that and watch another menu slide out where you get to choose from copy app links or copy web links. I like to copy the app links myself. All right, now once you've done that, just create a new note in Evernote and paste. The result will be a list of clickable links, a link for every one of the notes that you had selected. Now you can copy and paste or cut and paste them in any order. Add text such as names of different sections within that table of contents. And in the body of the blog post, you're going to see the entire table of contents note that I created. You'll notice how I was able to add some headings and group similar items together. And then I can click on any of those links and open the appropriate note. I'd taken some photos of the project as it had progressed, and they went into that dreaded camera roll. So since I can click and drag any JPEG into a note, I selected some before, during, and after photos. You'll see those. Now here's a pro tip. You want your table of contents note to always be the first note in the notebook. Now, how am I going to accomplish that? It will be by default when you create it because it's going to be the last thing that you updated. But as soon as you edit any other note in that notebook, that note becomes the first note. So here's an old trick that you can use. Add an undated reminder on that table of contents note. Click the reminder icon at the bottom of the note, and when the calendar pops up, select no date and then click add reminder. Now it's your turn. Are you planning a big project? Need a place to house all the information associated with it? Evernote's the perfect place, and you can get started today. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, take a look at these two videos right over here and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. This has been Frank Buck, helping you get organized and make it look easy.